So, hello everyone, and welcome to Talking About Testing channel on YouTube. My name is Valmir, and today I'm here to speak a little bit about testing from the perspective of a front-end engineer with Scott, which is a friend of mine. We have worked together on GitLab, and Scott has accepted this invitation to speak with me and to share a bit of his experiences with you. So, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your network. And Scott, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Walmir. It's great to be here. My name's Scott, like you said. Currently a front-end engineer at GitLab. Yeah, I've been there for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. We've worked together. Been in software development for about 6 years. I'm glad we're having a conversation about testing.
Yeah, I'm glad to. So, Scott, for us to get started, for how long? So, you just mentioned actually that you work as a software engineer for around 6 years. And when did you start, like in these 6 years that you have been working, developing software? Have you started writing tests for the code you were writing since the beginning, or it started later on your career?
That's a really good question. So when I first, I'm trying to think, when I first got into software development in school and doing side projects, it was always encouraged, like the topic was always encouraged to write tests.
Mm-hmm.
Not it, the testing strategy wasn't really talked about. It was just kind of like, this is a thing you should do.
Mm-hmm.
They briefly went over why, but that's I think a big point that they missed, right? They're just trying to fit a bunch of information and
I
tell
see.
you, hey, this is important, do it. So then my first couple jobs were contract roles, and I don't, so that was in school, and then production environment work. I worked on some like Rails APIs for a couple months. There was some limited testing, but nothing that I really contributed to. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next job I got after that was an internship, front-end internship in San Francisco. And there were no tests in that code base.
How did you
Um,
felt?
yeah, that's a really good question. I was trying to learn, it made me uneasy. I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to learn so much from this internship and just like provide value and develop that it probably would have been more overwhelming to have to write tests as well.
I see.
But yeah, it didn't feel great. Then after that, I got a job at a larger company called Autodesk,
Yeah.
and that was the first time that I worked in an organization with process and best practices and like striving for excellence. And because they're stakeholders, and you have to provide a certain level of test coverage, which is a topic we can get into later. So yeah, it's not really a straight answer, but that's a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
about.
But I think you made a very good point that like when you are just starting as a software engineer and someone tries to put some too much on your plate, it might get overwhelming. So it's good that you kind of you listened about it on university, then you had an experience without contributing to it, and it was okay. And then you moved to a place where there was some process in place where you could learn without getting overwhelmed, right?
Right, totally. Yeah, and I don't want to get straight into talking about Cyprus, but I think, and this is like a topic we can get into later, but I think when you're testing,
Hmm.
you should really think about what you're striving for, because a lot
Hmm.
of times people just tell you to test, but
Yeah,
they don't have a goal in mind.
yeah,
And if you're a new engineer and you're building a product for yourself, do you need to write 100 unit tests for a component? No.
yeah,
Can you get away with, okay, you have a Cypress flow, um, then you just test this one happy path of a user experience and make sure you don't break anything when you push changes? 100%.
yeah,
And you're getting the 80-20 split of what's the benefit of testing, what am I trying to do, and instead of I I gotta architect this whole testing harness, and I don't know,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like when developing any kind of software. Like first you have to understand what is the problem that you want to solve, and then what
Right,
are the tools that will help me solve that problem. And with testing, it's like what is the problem? Do I have many bugs going into production? Then maybe testing could help avoiding that. But if you have no tests and you have no bugs, maybe you don't even need tests, right? So,
right.
and in your opinion, like who is the responsible for software quality from your point of view?
That's a good question. The backend engineers. No, I'm just kidding.
Since you're a front
uh,
end one, right?
yeah. Front end work and backend engineers. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Honestly, everyone.
Yeah,
I don't expect everyone. I don't expect everyone to write tests or have an understanding of testing, but in terms of like software quality,
yeah,
depending, especially like if we built a product together, um, and there was a non-technical stakeholder that's working on product,
yeah,
they're equally as responsible to document, hey, there's a problem, let's look at this, prioritize, and then move forward. Then you get down to like who actually writes the tests.
yeah. Quality is a lot more than just writing tests, for sure.
Exactly. That's a much better way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And could you tell us about like a recent experience where writing automated tests helped you deliver higher quality software than if there were no tests at all?
Yeah. So I would even go further to say like automated. Are you talking about automated like end to end, or are you talking automated just like unit tests?
Any kind.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every day you have you have a security. You might have a security bug, and you want to make sure that that doesn't get introduced again.
Mhm.
Write a test. Make sure that your product doesn't have that vulnerability again. So it's saving time, effort with multiple people, context switching, etc. Um, yeah, I think I think as long as it makes you sleep better at night, knowing like, okay, I got that covered.
Yeah, we hear a lot that like automated tests, any kind of them, they usually give us this safety net that when they all pass, we can basically go home, sleep at night without thinking like this thing that I have just pushed might
Right,
break and someone might call me at night and I will have to solve it, right? Yeah,
right.
it was very common in the past. I imagine it might be common in some companies as well. And so
Totally.
you mentioned that you mentioned about security bugs. So do you usually write tests for the bugs you fix? Because it's part of the front end job to write cool new features that will render in the browser for the users. But sometimes you have to deal with bugs as well. They might be something that was found in production or something that you were developing something else and then you didn't notice that it broke some other part of the code. Do you usually write tests for when you are just fixing bugs other than writing a new feature, for instance?
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one time where I would write tests, it would be only when fixing bugs. Um, because those are things, a bug will come up because it's either an architectural flaw or like something wrong with the structure of your components or something you built. So that's already like validated a pain point in your code. So I think it's the most, if you're going to write tests, you always write them after you fix a bug.
Do you remember any recent test that you wrote for a bug that you fixed
Yesterday was
yesterday?
same thing. Yeah, yesterday. It was like a when you click on a label,
Hmm.
it would update the filter parameters in the URL and then re-render some issue items based on the filter parameters. But the click event was traveling up the DOM tree and then
Hmm.
firing an event that I didn't want to have fired, opening like a slide out. So fix that, and then wrote a unit test for that. To get the fix into production and moving faster, I covered the test plus fix the bug. But ideally, so that's at Kent dot Martin Fowler has a blog post on like a testing pyramid, right? And the unit tests are at the bottom, and then end to end are at the top. So that covered the unit test because I know, okay, if this is clicked again and this test fails, I have like 80% confidence in the coverage. Ideally, I would go write an end-to-end test in the next merge request to then cover like, hey, make sure that when you click this slide out doesn't show up.
Perfect. So you kind of mentioned that already, but I want to stress a little bit more. Why would you say that software testing is an important discipline in software development in general?
Yeah. So it's from two perspectives, right? Like it's from the engineering perspective. Time spent building features and fixing bugs. You don't want to, it's important because you don't want to be fixing the same problems over and over again. You want to have confidence of code quality delivery and making sure that you're not affecting your users in a negative way within your control. There's always stuff that's going to happen and you can't control everything. Then there's the perspective of the business and the like return on investment is like, if you're constantly shipping features and breaking workflows, your users are going to become more frustrated and might not want to use your product anymore. So there's like engineering productivity and confidence, and then there's business, I guess, like
ensuring that what was promised to users is
exactly
implemented,
and you're not
right?
delivering a bad experience, right?
Yeah, awesome. And I pretty much like that you use the term productivity when talking about the engineering side, because like when you were younger and when you were starting, you thought like writing tests would be more and maybe it would make you less productive, right?
Totally. Yeah.
But nowadays you think about it differently. You see that as like this safety net that like if I break something, I'll get feedback as soon as possible to fix that before pushing my change further to the pipeline, right?
Right. You also brought up a really interesting point. This isn't just limited to front end development,
For sure,
but
yes.
I don't think engineers talk about how to be like every time you have a return on the investment that you're spending writing the test. But then let's say that you give me feedback and you say this component's garbage, we need to rework how this is built. Okay, cool. So I rework how it's built. It's effectively doing the same thing, but now all my tests fail because maybe they're too granular and too unit. So now I'm spending time reworking all of these tests, but now I'm not providing, there's no difference in user value, but I've just spent all this time rewriting these tests. So like, how do you become more, and this is something I need to ask myself more as well, how do you become more efficient at writing tests and architecting tests in a way that you can deliver faster and make these architectural changes and have confidence like, okay, I restructured the whole app, but the app looks the same. The flows are the same. So at what point should your unit tests fail and should they not? It's really interesting.
Usually you would have to rewrite the code without having to rewrite the tests if the behavior is exactly the same, right? So sometimes we go too deep when testing. We test too many like specifics of a component or a specific part of the application instead of trying to test like how should it behave on certain conditions, right?
Totally.
Perfect. So finally, could you give some advice to other front-end developers that might not be used to writing testing and how they or like which kind of resource they could look for to learn that and why they should start doing so?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm a very I think I'm a practical person. If you're going to if you started a side business and you're going to just start writing tests in your side business, you're going to get frustrated and things. It's taking you so much time. You're not going to want to do it, set up, etc. So I would really encourage people to take one of the popular front-end testing courses. I know there's tons on egghead.io. I know Kent Dodds has one on like the testing pyramid, unit testing end to end, which I think is pretty comprehensive. I actually haven't done
He calls
them.
the testing trophy, actually.
Yeah, testing trophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't taken those, but just starting with a course, then having a pet project that you
Yeah.
practice testing, breaking stuff, re-architecting on your spare time, so that you're doing it in a non-stressful environment for learning purposes. Um, and then finally, like, pick a well-supported testing harness and just scaffold it, and
Yeah.
then edit from there. Don't worry about, oh, like if this is your first time doing end or unit testing or any type of testing as a front-end engineer, you don't want to set up Jest plus the like Babel transpiler for Jest, then Cypress. It's just too much. So find a good scaffold that I'm sure one of these courses will have. Do you have a testing? Does you have advanced, beginning, intro, and advanced Cypress, right?
Yeah. Beginners, intermediate, and Cypress advanced course on Udemy.
Oh, cool. And I actually haven't taken your courses. Is it like uh, testing specific, or is it like a front end engineer could jump in because you're using Cypress?
Yeah, anyone interested in learning end-to-end testing or API testing could jump in. Like specifically the last course that I launched, the advanced course of Cypress, it's not just focused on QA people, but also on front-end developers, because I even
Awesome.
teach how to decouple the front end from the back end to test the front end isolated, so that you get like faster feedback, you have control of what you're testing. So thanks
Amazing.
for
Yeah,
mentioning
I'll make the product plug for you.
it.
Take your course.
Scott, it's been amazing speaking with you. It always
Awesome. Thank you for
is.
having me.
So to end this session, could you talk a little bit to, like, I want to give you the time now to, if you have any initiative, if you are doing anything that people watching to this video might find interesting, it's time for you to sell your idea there.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so currently I've been just recently been posting on Twitter quite a bit on I guess intro to software development practices, with more of a focus on like front end development, and maybe if you're like a non-technical founder. And then I have a YouTube channel that I'll give you the link to share, where I talk about the how to contribute to open source. Do you need to go to a dev boot camp? Testing things that I found valuable that I wish someone told me, from my perspective. So yeah, not too much going on, but it takes a lot of time.
Did you stop writing on your blog?
Yeah, I actually need to start doing that. It takes me. I'm not a great writer. It takes me a long time to write.
You are a great
So just
writer. I really like the posts you write.
thanks. I need to start getting back into it. The editing of the videos takes forever. That
Yeah.
I don't have time, but I'll start. I think I'm not a great writer. I'm a better writer than I am on video. So maybe I'll start that up again.
Awesome. I will put the link to your Twitter and to your YouTube channel, and also to your blog here in the description of the video, so
Perfect.
that people can connect with you. Thanks
Awesome.
again for this chat. It was really inspiring, I think. And if you that are watching this video, if you liked it, please don't forget to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, because every week I am talking to someone else about any topic related to software testing, and share that with your network. And I think that's it. See you on the next time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.